Four-man front, receiver in motion, low snap. He runs and he throws, caught, touchdown. It's caught. Hardman caught the ball. The Chiefs have won. The Chiefs have won. The entire bench empties, chasing Mahomes in the end zone. Their third Super Bowl in 5 years.
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Chiefs Blitz podcast, Four Guys in a Bar. As you can see, we made a few changes around here, changing things up a little bit. This is our new format, our new show. And I want to thank Mr. Mango and Mr. Hense Todd for making sure we put this thing together. It looks great. Love the new intro. We'll start the show. My name is Nick Athan, host of the show, along with my partner, Hense Todd, producer extraordinaire. Catch out his show, Bowtie Sports, at YouTube, 1 o'clock Central Time in Kansas City. It's a great show. All one big happy family here. And we're getting excited. We are 3 days from the draft. We got another mock draft, a bunch of ridicule between the four of us, enjoying the banter as Four Guys in a Bar will always do. But before we get started, I want to introduce our first sponsor, and that would be my very good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes, with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for someone who's going to help you through the process of finding a house from start to finish, it's not easy. We looked at about 30 properties. We finally found the right house, and Eric and his partners took good care of us, making sure that we got the house at a fair price. And then all those dreaded back and forth with the other real estate agent, you got to have somebody with a lot of patience. And as many of you know, as a first-time buyer for my wife, Emily, I bought a few houses before, but nonetheless, you got to have someone who has your back. You got to have someone who understands the market, and you got to have somebody at the end of the day that you can trust, and that's Mr. Eric Haynes. Give him a call at 816-729-3785, or you can email him direct at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
Yes, he is, and another proud moment for me is my other two compadres on the Four Guys in a Bar Chiefs Blitz podcast. The senior member, Mr. Lou Montagna, and Mr. Andre Tillman. Coach, okay, can't see your hat today. You got it on backwards, so I don't know what you're rocking today, but he is a hat man. We love it. We love it. We love it. And we love the new format. We love the show. We're having a great time doing this. Kudos. Just need to point out yesterday, Sunday, with our new designs, our new social media presence, we were in the top 2 or 3 of Chiefs searches. So a lot of hard work went into this, a lot of change we made, a lot of guys spending countless hours, staying up all night, making sure we get this to us. So I hope you all enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts. If you got any questions about the show or any suggestions, please throw them in the chat. And don't forget, subscribe. It's free. None of this stuff, we don't charge you like some other sites do. We don't ask you to subscribe on our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram.
We don't say you know what I mean, if you don't subscribe, we're gonna get fired by our bosses.
None of that. We are the bosses. Whatever we say goes.
But again, a shout out to Mango, aka the young king, the young goat himself. Hey, I said we've been up all night, all weekend. We've been getting this done. I know he's you know me. I know we in 2 different time zones, so we've been working like crazy. You know me. I hope you guys like the new look. You know what I mean. Hey, I'm giving the guy all the props, all the likes. I mean, all the things. Go follow my guy. Hey, if you need some graphics designs, you need all this, man, pay the guy. My guy again, Mango. But again, how you guys' weekend been going?
Wait a second. Hold on. Forget the weekend. Mango's bringing the juice.
Yeah,
Coach Dre pointed that out last show, but this is fire. He even said, Fuego, you mix Kevin Harlan, a much funkier version of the intro music. I'm here for it. The cowbell, the background voices. Give me more of that. Come on.
All good, man.
Let's go.
Hey, that's a big splash of mango. It's a big splash of mango on this bag.
Right. Hell yeah.
Big
Come
splash
on
of
now.
mango. Mango and Bo.
Well, again, countless hours. Good afternoon, fellas. What a day. Again, we don't ask for much. All we ask is to subscribe and to share on YouTube. That's it.
No, we do. We do ask for much. We ask for your energy.
Hit the likes, every so often. Comments too, because Nick will jump in there. I'll jump in there. The other guys will jump in there and answer your questions, or even not answer questions, but just give you our feedback on whatever you're asking for. So
it's for Mango. Did he what?
Did I do that?
Yes, he did. Absolutely.
Well, let's get into this breaking news that happened over the weekend. A lot of people been saying, Chiefs need wide receivers, this and that. But one guy that's been on somebody's draft board lately, but I'm not going to say who, has visited the Kansas City Chiefs. What you guys got to say about this?
Another receiver. There's no question. They're looking at all the receivers, doing their due diligence. The 30 visits are very important for a lot of different reasons. You see what you see on tape. You saw him test at the combine. You get the opportunity, for one-on-one to really get to know the guy, right? I mean, is he gonna fit in the locker room? Is he? Does he know football? Does he love football the way we think he does? All those things that you want to not be 100% sure, but pretty damn close before you make a pick, especially in the premium rounds. So this is great. I mean, it's just another guy that they're taking a look at, and let's see what he's got.
Right, most definitely, man. The guy is a bona fide man. You think Rashid Rice was like he's slender, like that's Cassius Clay and this is Muhammad Ali. If y'all follow me on that one, the body size and the build, man, the boy is just exceptional. The boy is a freak of nature. So again, if the Chiefs can slide and get this young man, they get him, I have no question. We're going back. We're going back, man. So yeah.
And he said he missed out on DK Metcalf, and this guy is who? Who you say he compared to?
Pretty close.
Rashid.
He's pretty close to DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, no doubt.
I was surprised that Veach was that candid about the whiff on DK Metcalf, and looking back on it, they had some. I mean, he wasn't the only. To be fair. He wasn't the only general manager who was down on this kid because he had some issues.
31 others passed on.
Yeah, 31 others passed on him more than once.
Twice.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, listen, if there's another guy that they think is comparable to that, this is the player. We still no clue what the Chiefs are going to do at 32. I made a few phone calls this morning, and I made 3 phone calls. I got 3 completely different answers as to what the Chiefs might do. 1, trade out of the first round. 2, go way up to get an elite player that they have their eye on. Or 3, just be patient and take whichever wide receiver falls to them. So, Chiefs are drafting a wide receiver first or second round. That's a given 100%. Nothing's going to change from that. It's just a matter of is if Liggett's there at 32, and it's quite possible he will be, that's a great fit. I'd rather have him versus Xavier Worthy. I just think he's a better fit. I think he's more physical. I think the Chiefs they have the speed in Hollywood Brown that can stretch the field enough to create some separation and make some big plays, which you're going to see. And if you watched any of the clips between he and Patrick Mahomes, I mean, this guy's a yak machine too. So a lot of the things that Tyreek Hill could do great, Hollywood Brown can do really good. and that's what you want. So, but if you add a guy like this, and I love it. I think it's a great move. They had a bunch of wide receivers in, and I think they only had 24 of the 30 visits that they used, at least that we could find out about. But give me a stud wide receiver out of this draft in the first round. Get me a tackle in the second round, and hope, cross your fingers that both can have an impact this year. That's all you need to get out of this draft.
Hey, and the draft is 3 days away. 3 days away. Can you believe it? We didn't came this far. We done did all these shows, and it's finally on the week.
Yeah.
The draft.
And we only have like 72 more mock drafts to do. but seriously, Nick, we know one of the 3 calls was the Veach. What's his morning drink of choice?
I think it's a similar stuff to what Andre does. That green or orange slime stuff, with vitamins.
Hey, you gotta stay sharp.
I tell you, man, that guy works out, man. He's buff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, man. Hey, yeah, he is.
Beach is mentally tough and physically tough. I wouldn't want to be in a ring with him. Absolutely not. No way. I couldn't be in a ring with anybody, to be honest with you.
Back in the day, he was one of the top high school football players in PA, and I can vouch for that for sure.
Yeah, he was. He was a great athlete too.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, young man, real quick. Trahan says, I like him, but someone needs him more than we do, just saying.
The Bills. The Bills are going to take Worthy if he's there. There's no question about it.
Right. I see what happens, man. I see what happens. But again, hey, I would love to have him. I watched some highlight. I was kind of a little down on him legging until Dre and I we was overlooking at the board, and we was looking at the stuff. We was watching some highlights and everything. He was like, watch his God. I said, okay. I was like, did I watch?
We've heard a ton about.
Let me. Can I talk?
No, we've heard a ton of. We've heard a ton about this board. Are we going to get to see it? Are the fans going to get to see this board?
Yeah, we need after the draft is over. We need to see the board. That's fair.
I got the board right here, guys.
All right.
I'll let it see. The 33rd team, right?
No, but honestly,
there wasn't any writing on it, but that's all right.
That's all right. Hey, remember Peter Pan? You gotta imagine, man. You gotta imagine Peter.
No, you gotta imagine. That's all it is. That's all it is, man.
I'm gonna say this. He is like a bulkier, like a more stout version of Rashee Rice, because he is a beast after the catch. And one thing about him is he can go get the ball.
Yeah,
he's dominant in the air. He's dominant in the air. If he goes up and go get it, he's going to win that one-on-one. He's going to win those contested catches.
And early on, if he doesn't like step right in and like have a major role on the offense, he's a great kick returner as well. Punt, kick. So I mean, they've got plenty of guys that can do that, right? Yeah, but I think they like the rotation part of it. So again, if he falls, I mean, it depends on who's there, how they have him rated, but he's in that group,
right?
So
he is definitely
right.
Yeah. But there's one more guy that was also got invited to this visit. And a lot of people got a lot of hopes. He probably realistic there to be honest is Dez Walker. Tez Walker. I probably saying his name correct. What you guys think about him, Coach Dre? I know you told me a lot about him. What you guys say about him?
From North Carolina, Walker. He got good upsides. He got good upsides though. He's all right. I mean, he's something that can be a good rotation for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not somebody really looking at for real, but he can be a good rotational guy. I don't see any separation from him to anybody else on the Chiefs roster right now for real. So he'd just be a good rotation guy, So I see Rashee Rice over him.
So you saying he's in like a MVS, more like
a better version of MVS, a better MVS, better MVS.
The kid's got a ton of talent. I mean, he's got speed. Catches the ball. I think he kind of fell out of favor because, again, I mean, I've probably said this 100 times, but during the Senior Bowl week, he did not have a good week. Combine, so. But watching him play, once he got eligible and was able to play, before this process started, I think he was probably in the mentions of the top 6 or 7 receivers in the draft.
Yeah.
Now, again, for the teams, they may still have him up there. The Chiefs may have him significantly up there.
Sure.
So again, we'll see, but I think he's got as much talent as anybody from that. If you take out Harrison, Neighbors, Adunze, maybe even Brian Thomas, right?
Yeah.
I would say talent-wise, the next 10 guys are all pretty close. Just depends on, kind of the shape that you're looking for, speed, wide body, whatever. But he's certainly in that group, and I wouldn't discount him at all.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like on the flip side, this is kind of how he's that kind of player that was like Willie Gay. Willie Gay Jr. didn't have good workouts. The Chiefs loved him. They remained high on him. They took him, I think, in the second round. And I think when you look at it all, the Chiefs are really good at stashing guys and staying true to their value, knowing that, hey, he's probably not going to be there, in round late 3, late 4, but this is a guy we really love. And I don't think they particularly care so much about the rankings because, you make a good point. Once you get past the top 4 or 5 guys, you're right. It's beauty in the eye of the beholder. It's the same receiver. It has to fit the right system. All those things are really critical. And the Chiefs have a great system. So they know they can virtually plug and play almost any style of wide receiver. And they're going to identify what their role is going to be very early on. Whereas other teams may be taking a guy in the second round or third round, expecting him to be a number 1 when he's in reality a 2 or at best a 3. Chiefs don't have that problem. They've got a 1 and a 1A, and they've got the best tight end in the game. They've got a great running back and a super quarterback. So that any receiver who comes in, if he plays at the number 3 level, he's going to be given the time to understand his role and to develop, just like Rice was last year. So,
if you had to, with all that said, all you guys said about both of them, if you had to choose one and 3 days away, which one are you choosing?
Xavier.
You say Xavier Leggett?
Yeah,
or,
I don't think there's any question. If Walker falls to the 3rd round and the Chiefs don't have a wide receiver at that point, yeah, great value, great pick. Not sure he'll go that far, but Leggett to me is, he's the DK Metcalf, and I don't think the Chiefs pass on that guy. The Chiefs have been very high on him for the last 6 months. I don't think there's any question. Walker would be a good consolation prize, and I'm not dissing him in any way whatsoever because he can bring an element of talent and an element of playmaking ability to the Chiefs that they can use. So again, no matter who the Chiefs pick in rounds 1 or 2 at the wide receiver position, they're going to have success in Kansas City.
Absolutely.
Well, they'll have the best opportunity at success, right? I don't know that we could, really hang that on any of these guys. There's going to be guys taken in the 3rd and 4th that could explode, and then you'll have guys in the 1st and 2nd that may take a while to develop. You just never know until they get in the building. But in terms of the opportunity, because of the type of offense, because of the coaching, because of the quarterback, you have a chance, and that none of the other receivers have stepped up, right? So you can say we have a 1, we have a 1A. I'm not really sure we do. It depends who that is. I mean, you can say that Rasheed might be a number 1, but he may not play the first 6 or 8 games. I don't know beyond that who's really, the guy that you're going to count on out of that group. Nobody stepped up. So really anybody that comes in is thrown into that group, and they could be that second guy. Yeah. But then again, if Tony gets his head right and gets going, then, he moves down the pecking order a little bit. But to answer the question, Hense, I would say Walker would certainly be in consideration at 64 for sure. If they have their hearts set on receiver in the 1st round at 32, and perhaps, A.D. Mitchell is off the board, Brian Thomas is off the board, then I'm thinking you're looking at Ladd McConkey or perhaps Leggett. So if they're faced with that, maybe they do step back and trade into the top of the second round and say, hey, we'll take our chances because we like 3 or 4 guys at this spot.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of love for McConkey right now too. I know a lot of people think he's the best route runner.
Absolutely.
Thinks it's the best fit for these receivers. If the Chiefs trade back, they could probably get him, somewhere in the top 5 or top 8 of the second round. But he's the prime example of got to be the right fit for the right quarterback, the right offense, and the right system.
No,
I think that's why you're all over the board with him.
If you look at him, he's Cooper Kupp coming out of this draft.
Yeah.
If you want Cooper Kupp, you want a guy, that can run routes. And I compared him to Vontae Adams to me.
Yeah.
To me, or how the guy run routes and the guy always, Vontae Adams ain't got that much of a. He ain't that. He ain't gonna burn you, but he gonna kill you with his routes. So if you look at Lab, I won't be mad at that pick. But
no, he's actually perfect for the Chiefs. He gets open and he catches the ball. He knows where to be, when to be there, and that's all that Patrick's looking for. Somebody that is reliable, it's going to be there, and that will catch it. So I don't think, outside of the injuries, I don't have really many questions about McConkey.
I think like you just said real quick, and then the way that Andy Reid runs his schemes, Ladd will fit perfectly in how Andy Reid runs the West Coast. Like a lot of gadget plays, a lot of screen plays, a lot of in between plays and stuff like that. So he'd be a great addition for the Kansas City Chiefs, though.
And speaking of additions, we got the social media guy had put out a poll out there on Instagram, Twitter over the weekend. He said, "Hey, it's 3 days away. The draft is here. You got to bench one, start one, cut the other." And the guys that you have to bench, start, or cut the other, if you haven't seen the poll, this is the vote. And one guy has made that list. We know why he had made the list. But God, if you have to really look at it, have to really look at the board. And I already posted my answer. I know a lot of people going to say this guy, that guy. You know who I'm starting. If I had to choose, Mango, the guy that put out the question, hey, I'm starting Brandon Rice. I'm benching A.D. Mitchell, and I'm cutting Jalen Pope. If it was me, ouch to Lou. What you got to say about that, Lou?
Well, my affinity towards A.D. Mitchell. Now, I'm not privy to all the character stuff or the stuff that's come out. Is it true, not true about him, and whether it's work ethic, all these different things that are being said. But I'm just, as far as on the field, I'd go stack them the way they are: start, bench, cut.
Oh, stop it, sir!
Hey, hello, already in order. Hello, cut. Hello.
Cool.
Lou, you did it again.
Well, that's the poll. I don't know what. You asked that way. So I would say Mitchell start, Polk bench, and Rice cut.
So you gonna cut Rice. Okay.
No, somebody bubble got popped.
Somebody's got to get cut.
Hey,
there's only 3 of them.
I hold the mute button here, sir.
You sure do.
I got a new segment. It's a timeout corner. We got a new screen for that too. That we're gonna be working on. It's gonna be a timeout corner.
Does it have bars?
Yeah, it's gonna have bars on it. You're gonna be in jail.
I like that idea, Lou. The bars on that. That's dope.
Bars at the bar.
Go ahead. Too many. We're gonna call it too many shots that you got. Too many shots.
You go.
Too many shots.
You had your drink limit at the bar today. We're gonna put you in timeout. Go ahead, Dre. What you got to say about it?
Man, I'm gonna have to follow Lou on this one. I'm gonna follow Lou on this one, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go start.
I never seen shit Scanning and Skip agree together. But
hey, well, today's the first.
What's going on here?
No,
that's going in your head.
Hey, honestly, I'm gonna say this. Brandon Rice, from what I've seen from Colorado, gave me a different view on him. Not the USC Brandon Rice, but Colorado. So I would definitely start Rice. I would start Rice. Polk is a possession guy. I like him. I really like him, but I will go ahead. I will get rid of him, and I will definitely bench Mitchell.
No.
Wow.
What you guys say?
Well, I mean, I'm benching Polk. That's number one.
So we all agree on him, right? I guess
we all agree on him.
We all agree on Polk.
I don't know.
We want you on the team. We just don't want you on the field.
There you go.
No, I'll tell you what. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to cut Polk. I'm going to bench Rice, and I'm going to go with AD.
Okay.
Now, if we get Mitchell and Rice in this draft, Kitty bar the door, man. This offense is going to be back at the 35, 38 points a game.
You better cause it a wrap. But speaking of the NFL draft, it's 3 days away. We have some local guys that's turning their head in the draft. So what local guy is actually on our boards? On my board is Robinson. That's coming out of the draft. Is coming from local Missouri. What you guys have to say about him, Andre? Coach Dre.
Darius Robinson is nice, man. Another good player coming out of college. He's nice. He got good size on him though. It's just like a lot of Mizzou. To me, I feel like Mizzou been putting out some good players. From Bowden. Him, Darius Robinson. I like him because he's just physical. He's physicality. He got a lot of physicality to him.
I got him right behind Johnny Newton from Illinois. So they're really close. I mean, if he was to fall at 32, I would have a hard time passing on him to take one of the lower rated wide receivers because he's played inside, he's played on the edge more so this last year. Mm-hmm. So there's some versatility there. And, so we've got a few edge rushers, like developmental guys on the team that I think they're still working with. I don't know that any of them have separated. I mean, you really can't. FAU, that was like a redshirt year last year, so we'll see. But, BJ Thompson, he really didn't play much. Malik Herring really hasn't shown yet. I mean, a lot of potential coming out of Georgia, but you still haven't seen him be consistent. He has gotten better, I think.
Yeah, he made a couple of big plays in the Super Bowl. It should be noted.
But Darius Robinson is, I mean, you put him inside on the pass rush, he and Chris Jones in the middle, that's going to be substantial. So, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, he fits a need. He's a guy that can, like you said, play inside, outside. He had a terrific year for Missouri last year. Clearly one of their better defenders. Missouri football, I mean, they play a pro-style defense, and they're used to playing teams that pass the ball in that conference. They know he knows angles, he knows leverage, he knows how to use his speed. Right. He's a hustling machine. He's a guy who doesn't quit. Now he's not anywhere in the class of some of the elite pass rushers that are in this draft, and there aren't that many. Right. But if you put him in the rotation in Kansas City, along with what Kansas City has right now, I'm with Lou. I wouldn't be upset one bit if this is their pick at 32.
Okay, I won't be upset with it either. But it's also another local guy from K-State that's coming out this draft that made Andre's board that he got criticized.
I ain't like you put a lot of emphasis on that part, sir. You put a lot of emphasis on that one. You put a lot of emphasis on that one, like Andre.
That mock draft will live in infamy, and we are going to make use of it every single show if we can.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You right. I'll take that. But not Ben.
We're going to call it crushing the coach.
He didn't even. The thing is, he didn't even take Sinnott. It was some guy from Ohio State that is kind of like a guy.
I took in the first round. I took
Stover in the first round.
You know what? I had to go back, but that's cool. It's fine. I take it. But Ben Sinnott is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, he can do it all. Mm-hmm. He can do it all: block, catch, stretch the field. He's a good contested catcher. He's real good around the end zone. Like he's real good around the end zone. So he's the guy that you can trust. So if the Chiefs get this man, I won't be mad. I won't be upset at all.
Yeah, I would love it. I have him on most of my draft prognostications. I think if they don't get my boy Bowers in the first round, this is my number 2 choice at tight end. He's going to be less expensive. He's gonna learn from Travis Kelce, and you got to have someone who's willing to be in that position to learn from somebody like that. A lot of these guys have their egos when they come into the game and they think they know better. Right. This isn't one of those guys. He was a team leader at Kansas State. They had a lot of turmoil last year despite their success, and he stayed steady and he kept the ship together, and that's what you want. He's got enough talent to where he can be an impact player for the Chiefs next year. So I like him a lot. I hope he's there in the second round. If the Chiefs go wide receiver 1 and tight end 2, again, they've got Irv Smith Jr., which I think is a really good signing. It's going to be an under the radar signing, kind of like what Mike Edwards was last year. You mark my words. I'm telling you right now, this kid's going to shine with Patrick Mahomes.
Mark his words. Mark
my words.
Highlight it.
Mango. Monday, April 22nd.
Mango, clip it. Mango, clip it.
This was the first year, I think, that Andy Reid didn't carry a fullback on his team, whether it be Philadelphia or, in West Coast offense. That's a big piece. And Sinnott being able to play kind of like that hybrid H-back position would certainly be somebody that they could utilize. Now, you'd be thinking maybe at 64 if the O-lineman, they haven't drafted in the first round and they don't see one that they particularly like as far as at the end of the second round. Maybe they wait till the third round. Again, however they have him rated, but I think this would be like the ultimate luxury pick for them, right? So I don't think he is that much better than the other positions of need. So if it's kind of like a tie, you got a clump of players and you want to take the best one and they're all kind of the same, then you will favor need over, whatever the talent is. But it has to be like pretty similar.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got a guard from KU that a lot of people ain't mentioning on their boards, but he will be there in the second round for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm betting that because he's been on a lot of draft boards I have seen. But what you think about him, Lou? I'm gonna start off with you.
See, I really don't know much about him. I've heard you guys mention him and have him up, high in the draft. And I, quite frankly, really don't know much about him. I didn't see a lot of KU this year. Be honest with you. I know that Austin Booker has made a little bit of a name for himself, and a couple of other guys, but I really don't know much about him.
No?
Yeah, I think he's a guy that I kind of studied some of the draft prognostications yesterday, and teams have him anywhere from the second to the fourth round. I even saw one where he was middle of the fifth round. I think he's a guy who can play in this league for 8 to 10 years at a high level. He reminds me a little bit of Dave Zott, the former Chiefs guard. He has a lot of versatility. He has a lot of strength. He's extremely intelligent. I thought KU's offensive line overall last year was pretty outstanding, and they went against some of the top defensive lines in college football last year, and they won a lot of games. And he's a guy that again, beauty and eye beholder, right fit, but he's so he has the ability to do so many things, and I think he could play center if he needed to. He knows how to play guard. I'm not sure he can play tackle at some point, but you never know. Andy Reid likes to move guys around till they find the right spot, but they have no depth at the interior offensive line right now. And they've got, a couple of potential free agents next year. But if he slides, as John Harrison said, he's versatile, can play almost every position on the line. He'll probably go in the third round. If for some reason he slides at the end of the third round, that would be a huge pickup for Kansas City. But don't get me wrong, this kid is talented. He's definitely, in my opinion, in the top 5 of maybe 6 of guards available in the first 3 days. So any team that gets him is going to get a guy. He's NFL ready. He's smart. He'll come to play from the OTAs. He'll be that Trey Smith type of player who arrives in OTAs and just everybody turns their head and says, wow, that's the kind of player he's going to be.
I think in terms of interior offensive line, you make a good point because they're really, I think it'll be telling how high they go with that position about, Creed, Trey, Joe Tooney, how they decide they're going to do that eventually. They haven't, outside of Creed, they typically haven't drafted interior offensive line very high.
Right.
So, and Creed, that was a little bit of to me, a surprise that he slid so far into the second round, because there was a lot of talk before there'd be, and I think the only thing that pushed him down was the fact that he was a center.
And he was left-handed. Yeah.
You're right. They weren't looking at that position very, very highly in terms of the rest of the league. So maybe that's not why I know much about him. I just wouldn't see them picking that position that high in the draft.
Definitely. Yeah. But as y'all stated, it's all about versatility when it comes to that line anyway. Somebody that can fill in, and who knows, he might make a big impact for that line though.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like he's gonna have to come and stop and get a lot of guys off the edge. So looking at, speaking of getting guys off the edge, let's go ahead and get into our next sponsor. Go ahead, Nick.
All right, let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Dave Purdy with Edge Home Finance. If you're looking for a trusted mortgage expert and someone who can do the impossible, as he did for me and my wife, Emily, finding a loan that not only had a great interest rate, great terms, did everything he could. He and his boss fought with underwriters. Someday I'll tell the long story, but at the end of the day, you got to have guys and you got to have somebody who will have your back when it comes to finding a mortgage. It's so much tougher to do it these days. It's so much harder, especially if you're self-employed. And I say this often, if you want somebody who you can trust, if you want somebody who can get the job done and who's not going to give up, who's going to make sure at the end everything works out, you got to have a guy who understands the business and someone who's been in the business for a long time. So give Dave Purdy a call at 816-405-5831 at Edge Home Finance. And we love Dave because he is pretty good. Nope, we lose Andre.
Hense muted himself. The bow tie show is gone on mute.
I said Dre had it has nothing to do with the bow tie show, sir. But again, Dre has go ahead lost signal there. So
okay, well, hopefully we get him back.
And we're gonna let you know there. But again, as we go into the next topics, we're gonna go talking about the NFL draft. A lot of people was giving Dre a lot of stuff about his mock draft. But again, we're gonna have to go ahead and miss his mock draft because he's not president at this time. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and talk about Joe. Why you wanted the Chiefs to move up? Explain that situation.
This is Patrick Mahomes 8 years ago. That's the kind of player. That's the kind of impact you're going to have with a guy like this. This is your starting left tackle for the next 10 years. He's better. He's better than his father. He's got all the tools. The biggest hole in this Chiefs pursuit of a three-peat is a solid left tackle. He's 10 times, well, not 10 times. He's 5 times better than Wanye Morris. He's 10 times better than Donovan Smith. You don't get guys like this. I posted my article today, and I could be ridiculed for it, but I'll say it anyway. He's the best left tackle prospect I've seen coming out of the draft since Anthony Munoz back in 1980. Surefire. He's going to go anywhere. He's going to go to either the Chargers or he's going to slide in 10 or 11. And if the Chiefs see him slide, I don't think there's any question. You have a chance to get a superior athlete at a position of need that is so critical and vital to your offense because there's nothing he can't do. He can block. He can pancake block. He's good on his feet. He can pull. He's going to protect Patrick Mahomes. What's that worth? Would I give up a number 1 next year and a number 3 next year, number 1 this year and a 3 this year? I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't think that's going to be enough. The Chiefs would probably have to get some late round maneuvering back to swing that deal. But listen, don't pass Joe Alt if he slides. You go in, you go all in. It's just such a no-brainer for me, especially with the legacy of his father. I mean, his father played for the Chiefs for 10 or 11 years and never missed a start. His son is better, just at all costs. I mean, I kid about Brock Bowers, but Joe Alt, to me, you put him at left tackle for the Chiefs for the next 10 years, the Chiefs are in great shape on that offensive line. No matter what else they put out there, they've got that signature piece of the offensive line that they never have to worry about. And I'm telling you right now, if he slides, even in the slightest, I don't personally care what it costs. If you want a 3-peat and you got a chance to get Joe Alt, you go get him.
Right. You got to let it play out because all these teams trying to trade up for quarterbacks, so let's see. I mean, the first landing position you have to think is at 5 if the Chargers, but the Chargers more than likely, if they can get a good deal, are going to trade out of 5.
Sure.
So then what's the next logical spot? Perhaps the Titans at 7, where just about everybody has him going, right? Especially since the assumption is that the Chargers do trade out of there. Okay, well, what if they're looking to trade down and Rome Odunze is still on the board, right? The 3rd receiver. So that's an inflection point for the Titans. Hey, we can trade this pick because Chicago might be looking at him. I'm sure the Jets would want to move up. And so it really depends. So he could actually tumble some spots. So I'm with you there. He would certainly have to come down a bit. My only concern with him is that 6'8", 6'9", at that height, I don't know if there's ever been, like a top left tackle for 10, 12 years, whatever you're saying, Nick, that has been at that height.
His daddy.
Because he's not quite the knee bender, if you would.
Yeah.
So that's the only concern I have there. And it's not that he's going to be a bust in the NFL. It's just that he may not be as highly rated historically as we think he might be. So he would have to tumble down maybe even below 10 for the Chiefs to really make that move and feel good about it. Right. And it's probably the same thing with Brock Bowers too. Because again, he is probably going to slide a bit, but for the same reasons. If the Chargers trade out of 5 down to 11 with Minnesota, Brock Bowers sitting there, I gotta believe Harbaugh needs him. Really fired up. Now at 5, maybe it's a little rich for their blood there, and then they do take Alt. So it really, the Chiefs are going to have to kind of see how the board flows. But I'd be willing to make a fair deal, but maybe those teams at the top are looking for a very much of a sweetheart deal to make it happen. So, like Veach said, he certainly, in his mind, would be aggressive enough to make a big trade up, but he's got to get Clark's sign off on it. So we'll see. He normally sides with the football people. So if they are so adamant about it, I'm sure they can convince him.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. If I have to move up, I have to move up. It had to be Joe Alt or that's the only way I'll move up in this draft. But everything else will be there. AD Mitchell will be there at 32. The other guys that's on our draft boards will be there at 32. So if they are thinking offensive tackle and setting up for the future, that's the only person that I will grant that I will give my pass on to move up to get Joe Alt. Yeah. If you're gonna move if he slides down out of the 10s, going down into the top 15, top 20. If he's in that range, then that's the guy that I trade up, to go. Yeah. I agree with.
And we got a lot of guys on the board who feel that way. Merrilee says to go get him now. A new one, Scott 80 Allen. says fire, go get him. Bloodlines, I agree. And then, this Tim Grunhardt's the one who spoke about this yesterday locally in Kansas City. Get the best guy you can to protect him. Alt played his dad 13 seasons. I think it was that far. And, Marilee again with some great takes. We have enough wide receiver tight end in the shadows. No Patrick, no dynasty. Mm-hmm. And John Harrison, hey, he's doing his math. All the tackles in this draft are 6'6" and 6'8". They're all tall. It is an unusually, tall set of tackles available in this draft. But, again, he's got his father's bloodlines. John Alt was a terrific player, same size, similar body. What I think is interesting about Joe Alt is if you look at pictures of him from 2 years ago, he didn't have all the girth. I mean, he put on he grew a lot, in muscle and height, and kind of had that spurt. And if you look at pictures from him a few years ago, you're thinking, wow, how did this kid grow to be this man right now? And, he's developed and he's developed into his body. He knows how to use his body. Again, if he slides, Lou, I'm with you 1,000%. You move up, you sell your soul a little bit. Again, the Chiefs are all about three-peating, man. And if you want to three-peat and you want to ensure that Patrick Mahomes has a better chance of playing another 10 years, you go get this guy, because you're not going to find a tackle in the free agent market. You're not going to find one next year. This is your guy.
He didn't start playing O-line until I believe he was either a junior or senior in high school, and that was by design. I think his dad told him that, really kind of play tight end. He played quarterback. I mean, he's done a lot of different things, different sports, because, obviously he's different than most other parents. He kind of knows the deal here.
A little bit.
And if you learn how to play other sports, it's only going to help you play football, and especially on the offensive line with all the footwork and technique that's needed to succeed. So there still may be some upside with him. I mean, who knows? Maybe he grows even larger.
God,
but
can you imagine?
But yeah, to get with Andy Heck, to get in a pro system, it would be a great move by them. Mm-hmm. It just, again, it just depends on how the board falls and what they're able to get done deal wise, because again, there's not going to be many teams lined up to try to help the Chiefs win.
No. Yeah. No one's going to help them. I mean, they'd have to be an NFC team.
So there's going to be a premium, right?
Yeah, there's going to be – the Chiefs are going to – no matter what the Chiefs do, if they want to move down, they're going to pay a premium. If they want to move out, they're probably not going to get the compensation that they're really looking for either. So, listen, the Chiefs are the hated team right now in the NFL, and the other 31 teams want to do whatever it takes. But, even if the Chiefs don't get impact players in this draft that contribute like they have the last 3 years, they're still the team to beat. There's nobody in the division that's really going to challenge them seriously if they play to that, 80% of their potential. And I think last year they played to maybe 50 or 60% of their potential on offense. They can do whatever they want, but don't pass on this guy if he slides. And if they think when he gets to, I think Atlanta's got the 7th pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Atlanta's 8th. Yeah.
8th, I'm sorry. So
Tennessee.
If he gets past the Titans at 7, I think honestly the Chiefs should really strongly consider making that move up. That's probably the only place I think they can get him.
Yeah, well, it's hard for those bad teams to trade out of the top 10 to 32, no matter how much future stuff you get them, because they've scouted these players, they love somebody at that point, because again, the Chiefs' first round picks are going to be 28 to 32 from moving forward, as far as I'm concerned, and probably more so 30 to 32. So those firsts that you're getting in the future are actually high seconds. And again, it's just a difficult thing for the other team to swallow.
But having a top 10 pick in 25 and an end of the second round pick, end of the first round pick, you got 2 picks. They can move up. They can parlay that. The Chiefs will probably give them at least a pair of 3s. So I mean, they definitely have their advantage to doing it. It would make sense because the Falcons, they're not a very good football team. I don't think they're going to be. Kirk Cousins is going to certainly bring a different element to that franchise, but they got a lot of learning how to win days ahead of them, and it may not happen this year.
Right.
Even though the division sucks, I guess is the nicest way to put it.
That's the point. That's the point that they have going for them. And now they've got an adult at quarterback that can make plays. They've got a ton. They've got a ton of young talent in terms of the skill positions.
Right.
So it's defense. So
yep.
I don't know what would spur them to they might trade back, but I don't know that they would trade all the way back to 32.
Yeah, no, I'm with you too. I think it would be a stretch.
All right, let's get into this mock two.
Let's do it.
Let's get right into Nick's picks. We're gonna start off
my picks. Oh wow, I get to go first.
Go ahead.
All right,
hold on, guys. Let me get my glasses on.
I gotta put my glasses on too. I'm sorry. I'm spent here when it comes to eyesight. All right, first round. I've got Tyler Guyton, the tackle from Oklahoma. Roman Wilson, round 2. From Michigan, Ben Stenott in round 3, Javon Baker from UCF, Micah Wingo. I have a trade with the New England Patriots, where the Chiefs will get some extra picks. Rasheed Allen, Trevor Keegan, and the last round is Sundiata Anderson. I picked him because I love the name and I love the workups I've seen on him about his motor and how relentless he is. But for me, this is a safe draft for the Chiefs. Gets him a couple of really good wide receivers. It addresses the offensive line with 2 guys, either with Guyton who can start. Keegan's a prospect. He's a big guy. Has had success in college. Can play center. Can play guard. I think the Chiefs need that versatility. I've always liked Wingo a lot. I think he was one of the visitors, if I'm not for certain, but I think definitely, you have to look at it, but I really like him a lot.
Nice move, Hense. I like the side by side. I was trying to think. Who was 1.0?
Ouch.
Nick,
Ouch.
you have outdone yourself here, my friend.
You like this draft?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
If Guyton falls to 32, that's a great pick.
Dude.
I like Roman Wilson, Ben Sinnott in the 3rd round. That would be cool. I mean, Javon Baker, kid from UCF, in the 4th. Wingo, good stuff about him. You know how I feel about Rasheen Ali. Keegan and Anderson, I don't know a hell of a lot about, but I would say through the first 5 rounds, Nick, I'm feeling much better about this one for sure.
There you go. See, I'm evolving. I took the KU guy off the board, and look what happens. Hey, it's my school. I
got a lot of hate mail and threats to be kicked off the show after last one. So I'm gonna be a little nicer. I'll be a little bit more.
To get kicked off. Dang, but again, I feel like this. And Nick he outdid himself on this one. I won't agree. I'm not a Roman Wilson fan. I think he just got more. Nothing against Scott Moore. I feel like they're the same player.
That late, if he's there that late in the 2nd round, I mean, that's just.
Well, I think that the difference with Wilson is he played at the higher level of competition. He played in championship games and he produced in those games. And I think speed wise, they're a little bit more than Sky. So that I hear what you're saying as far as body type, Hense. And that's kind of some PTSD at this point for people that again saw the blow by Veach on DK Metcalf and oh my gosh, Scary Terry. I mean, there's so many of them. But anyway, so here we go. That's not bad at all. I'm liking this one much better.
All right, fair enough.
So we're gonna go right into Lou's picks.
Not gonna see a big difference on mine. It's gonna be pretty similar. The only thing with mine is at the top. I'm assuming that Mitchell and Johnny Newton are off the board. So what I said earlier about Ladd McConkey is what I'm sticking with. Is he's a guy that's going to get open. He's going to run his routes very well. He's going to run his routes with timing. And that's kind of what they were missing with their receivers last year and again, kind of like the complaints about a McCole Hardman and some of the others. So that was in the first round. Now in the second round, Rook Orororo is somebody that's very interesting. Again, another defensive tackle that it has a lot of upside, very athletic. And I think early on, he's at least a great run stuffer. But I think with playing with Chris Jones, maybe he gets some training from Tamba. I don't know what it's going to do, but he's got the ability to push the pocket. So I really like him there. Rosengarten, been talking about him since the Senior Bowl. Love him as that in the second or third round to be able to get a tackle of his caliber, I think would be a steal. Elijah Jones from Boston College he's a sticky cornerback, and he would be perfect for Spags. Gabe Hall, another one of these defensive tackles that, again, stout against the run and has some pass rush ability. Eric All, the tight end from Iowa, who's been injured. Again, he may not be sitting there. Again, I'm just kind of projecting here that if teams have their medical on him as being a problem, that he may slide. And if he does in the fifth round, this would be perfect because, again, all the upside in the world. If they clear him on his medicals, this kid could be the next great Iowa tight end. And then, of course, our favorite in the seventh round, Rasheen Ali. But I do have another running back that I guess on version 27.2, I'll have in there that is more of a Jet McKinnon type that I've been watching more and more YouTube tape on. So stay tuned for that.
All right. We'll have that on Wednesday. Absolutely. Looking forward to that. Obviously, go ahead.
So looking at Lou's board, what do you got to say about it, Nick?
Well, I mean, I think he stayed true to version 26.1, and listen, I don't know that much about Aurora. I'm sorry,
I honestly just wanted to hear you guys try to say
I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. But listen, I think McConkey in the first round, I would not be upset about it. I like the kid. I think, beauty's in the eye of the beholder in this guy. And I think it's very important that, the Chiefs find the right guys. And again, Lou, you do a really good job of, finding guys that fit and finding value, which is how Brett Veach thinks. You got to have guys that can contribute. It don't make a lot of money. And I think that's what you've done in this draft. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
I think you did a good job too. All
right, Hense.
Like I'm not taking shots. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just saying. I
fire away. If there's some, I know I didn't take Brendan Rice. I didn't. Come on.
No, I feel like he did a fairly bang up job on this one around. But again, as we go back and look at some people's draft days, not on the show, but we got to do it anyway. But the guy's not on here, so that's not my problem. But we got to look at Dre's because Dre's been getting a lot of hate on on the Twitter and everything else. The memes had been made. So what you got to say about Dre's last draft, Lou? What you got to say about that?
Well, I'm not going to pile on. I think I said a lot last show. It was alarming, I guess, is probably the nicest thing I can say about it. Because again, I mean, maybe a fourth or fifth rated tight end at best to kind of reach like that in the first round really isn't the Chiefs style or Brett Veach, a running back in the second. Now, it's nothing against Blake Corum, and I believe he's going to be a great player in the NFL. I just don't think the Chiefs are really ready to take a running back in the second round. Wilson, I thought was a good one. Elijah Jones, I have him on there too. Foster, good pick. Cephas is a guy that I've been talking about since early in the season. Mm-hmm. Had some issues with the DWI. I don't know how that plays in Kansas City with the whole thing gone on with Rasheed, and now all of a sudden bringing another guy in that might have some issues. Might be a UDFA. I wouldn't really sneeze at that. I would really enjoy that or really like if they brought him in like that. Don't know who the 7th round pick is, quite frankly. So I apologize to everyone. He's stuck with Cephas now in the 4th round, so really pushing him up. That might be a little rich there. Like Leggett in the 1st round, we talked about that a little bit earlier. The kid from Yale as a tackle, very good grades there. I can honestly tell you, I've never seen Yale play football.
They play football?
Maybe when I was a kid, when we didn't have like 100 channels, we just got the Harvard Yale game. But no, he's been very good athlete. He's been spoken very highly of. So that fits. That could certainly fit there. T'Vondre Sweat, he's dipped a little bit because of some off-field stuff.
Yeah.
Big, hulking dude. I mean, he's just huge. Is this another Jalen Carter? Probably not the athlete, but he's just such a big space eater. And again, you don't see a lot of that, I guess in the newer NFL, you want to have a defensive tackle that can get upfield and rush the passer a little bit too. So that might not quite, but he does kind of fit in that third, 4th round area. Davis, the running back, the story is amazing. What he's gone through to get to where he is. A little bit older guy, has been in college for a long time, doesn't really fit the running back profile. You want to get them as young as possible. So not too sure on that one. Theo Johnson, this would be great value, I think. Tight end from Penn State. He's probably rated. Now, again, there's a big gap between Blake Bowers, but the next 2 guys, Jatavian Sanders from Texas and Theo Johnson, seem to be 2 guys that are fighting for that 2 and 3 spot. Now, there's some others in there as well, but he's certainly a guy that you can have in there. I don't know that he slips all the way to the 5th, but if he's there, that'd
be a crazy. That'd be
that
crazy. And that just tells you there's not a lot of talent in this draft at the tight end position. And if he somehow falls, heck, even at the end of the 4th round, if they haven't addressed,
I think there is, Nick. I think they're just pale in comparison to Blake Bowers is all it is. It's just unfortunate for these kids that they're in the same draft as Blake Bowers, and the tight end position again gets pushed down a little bit. So, but I think the kid from TCU, I think I have him in my next mock as well. So there's some players. It's just, again, everybody tries, you look within the position. It's like, well, geez, there's Blake Bowers and he's everything, and these guys must suck. They don't suck. There's a big gap in terms of athleticism and production.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna get into the Mango's picks from last into present. If you get to watch Mango's picks last time, so what do you guys think about this? Do you think you give him an upgrade, or what do you put him in about this? Go ahead, Nick.
All right, let's see what he's got. Well, Montagna is a hot topic right now. He's definitely climbing the boards. I think he was a surefire, top of the 2nd round. He should be there. I love Troy Franklin. We all are on the same page with Sweet. Pooney, same thing. Here's another Eric Hall. Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver, and Rashid Ali, running back, we're pretty consensus with. But if you compare the drafts, I mean, he's still looking at virtually the same positions of need, move some stuff around. But honestly, I like Kingsley a lot. I really like Franklin. I love Sweet. Pooney is one of my favorite players in this draft. And Luke McCaffrey would be an interesting – can you imagine if they had McCaffrey and Rice both on the Chiefs roster? That would be so much fun. So much fun on to see how that all shakes out. But I think Anonymous, as he does with his graphics, that's a solid draft. If the Chiefs came away with that, I'd be good with it.
Yeah, a lot of value there, absolutely. And the thing, if they really like Suamatia, the offensive tackle from BYU, that much, and they feel that he's going to come in and just step right in, or at very least be like his job to lose with Wanya Morris. If they like him that much, then I'm good with that pick. Franklin, I think, would be a steal that at 64. Sweat, again, if you're okay with the character and that's all good, it's just a matter of keeping his weight at a reasonable amount, because I think he's
acceptable level of not being crushed.
He's pushing 400. But Eric always, I talked about him, but McCaffrey that's the kind of like the wild card. He's a smart kid, played Division I quarterback at Nebraska, was able to move to wide receiver and be considered a mid-round pick in the NFL. So he's got a ton of athleticism, sees the game from the eyes of a quarterback. So kind of he has an idea of what the quarterback is seeing, what they're reading. So it's just really a matter of, he played at Rice, and I think that might knock him down a little bit. And the fact that maybe he's just Christian's little brother might even be like a knock against, but he's almost as fast. He's certainly as quick, and he can certainly catch the ball. So that would be a
great
nice developmental guy. Yeah. At very least, he's going to have kick return ability.
Yeah, and they're going to have a lot of kick return options, and with the new kickoff rules, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I think we're all in agreement that the Chiefs in this draft are going to grab at least 2 wide receivers. One guy that they project that can make an impact, and another guy that they can say, hey, we'll give him a little time. So I think that can, every mock draft I've seen, I think the Chiefs are going to pretty much go 2 wide receivers out of the picks they have available at the moment.
At the moment, at my draft, as the pick is in. Go ahead and
special music.
I forgot to hit the button. I was trying to put everybody in 3 boxes. But again, as I traded back with we didn't pick in the first round on the updated board. I traded back with the Washington Commanders, and I still got Brian Murphy II there. He was sitting there. I said, well, he's there. Let me take him. Him and Chris Jones side by side. That will be nasty. It won't be a match for an offensive line. Chris Jones, Brian Murphy, George Kalafis, and UFV. Or you got Charles Minimum who coming off the other end, or another guy that can be there. That can be a nasty defensive line. Now Sanders, as y'all can see on both boards, I have Javon Sanders there. I feel like he's the best tight end that's coming out this draft, and he was sitting there at 64. I said, well, cool. Let me grab him. Him and Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce can help him learn the position, and he'll be great coming there from Texas. As you can see, I probably got a lot of Texas guys on my board.
Yeah, it's very burnt orange field.
There's a good reason for it too, because they're all pretty darn good.
They all good. But then you get Brandon Rice. I know everybody gonna say the Rice. I'm over here. He fell over. I said, well, he's still there. Let me grab him. He coming out the backfield. Then Brooks. Now, guys, if y'all didn't watch Brooks from Texas,
he's really good.
He's a really good running back. Him and Isaiah Pacheco will be unstoppable at this point if you grab Brooks there. Now, John Break, look, you got Baker too. You got Brandon Rice, Baker, and a lot of people ain't talking about Tajay Washington. A lot of people ain't talking about Tajay Washington. That is Tyreek Hill all over again. You go back and watch. You go watch his tape from him and Caleb Williams.
You guys getting carried away with these Tyreek comparisons, man.
Go watch his tape.
He's about 50 pounds lighter. I mean, he's a small guy. He's fast. He certainly is. I mean, he's gonna be. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm saying let's not compare anybody to Tyreek anymore. Let's not do that.
Okay, we won't. We get Christian Jones. A lot of people don't know about Christian Jones. Christian Jones, he's a real big guy. Was 6'6", 6'7", maybe around that pound, 340 something pounds. This guy reminds you of Trey Smith at right tackle. You put him at right tackle, you make him swing him over to the left or right side. But this guy, Mauler, he plays soccer. You gonna play this guy like he's a big guy playing soccer. It's amazing watching him do it. Kicking the ball up in the air and everything else. But there are my picks from last time. Did I get an upgrade or what? I don't know.
Wow.
Leave it up. Leave it up. Can you leave it up for a minute?
Go ahead. I'll leave it back up.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I mean, if Byron Murphy fell, I mean, that's the caveat. And I said the same thing with mine. Hey, if Johnny Newton's gone, if somebody like Murphy's gone, like the top guys are gone, then certainly Lad McConkey was the pick, but Byron Murphy, if he's available at that spot, yeah, you take him. You run to you run up there with the card. Sanders, again, a little rich for my blood, but I like him as a player. Rice, I do like him as a player. Yeah, if they can get him in the third round, sure. And that was one of the picks they got in a trade, or no, that's their original third, right?
Yep, original third.
And then the 102, must be a compensatory pick that you got in a trade. Okay, Brooks, great running back. I don't know that they go that high in the draft for a back, but I like him. Javon Baker, talked about him with some of the other boards. Taj, like I said, he's just a smaller dude, a lot of speed. I think he could, he's got a future in the NFL. I just don't know that it's in Kansas City. Just because of his size. I mean, they brought Hollywood in as kind of maybe a smaller guy, but Hollywood, I think, is a little more solid. So that might be a tough one for a smaller receiver. So all in all, not bad at all. I mean, it's Byron Murphy's the one. Christ, I mean, hey, I make that deal every day.
No, yeah, if he slides, I mean, I think the fact that you threw it out there and took 3 wide receivers, that tells me Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Justin Watson,
they're nice.
Could be one of those guys or 2 of those guys could be out because
you better ball out, guys.
If they somehow draft 3 wide receivers, they better believe 100% that they can contribute this year, because they would have to cut some guys with experience to make it work. And I think 2 is an ideal number. That gives you a lot of insurance. And if Toney plays well and Sky Moore plays well, it'd be great. I mean, I love Sanders. I like Rice. I love Brooks.
Brooks, man. I seen him there. I said, I couldn't believe he was.
I watched him torture Kansas twice in the last 2 years. He's just a terrific player.
Yep.
And he's that kind of running back you put next to Pacheco, and they need that guy. He's not a Jet McKinnon type, and they probably going to, Lou will break out the Jet McKinnon type in his mock draft
on
Wednesday. But I like the picks. I like the aggressiveness on offense because the Chiefs' defense is virtually set at defensive tackle.
Yeah,
I think the only other hole they have enough coverage everywhere else. And remember, guys, the Chiefs have a lot of cap space. So there's going to be guys cut after the draft that the Chiefs are going to be, for the first time in many years, in a position to where if a veteran comes available, they're going to sign him and they're going to get him at a good value. And that's probably what Beach is thinking. So I wouldn't rule out some additional free agent signings, post NFL draft, certainly post June 1. And the Chiefs have been hampered the last year by not being able to add guys and do trades because they didn't have the money. Now they do.
Yeah, KC Mango comments, Mr. Hense rocking the KC red today. Now I can't believe Coach didn't pick up on this, because that to me looks like the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket. So come on now, show it up.
It's a jacket I wear every a week before the draft.
There's no stud. There's no studs on their shoulders.
It's a superstitious thing. I gotcha.
It's a superstitious thing, but it's just speaking of a draft. I mean, trades, but the Chiefs could trade for a wide receiver. Titans, they filled all their gaps at wide receiver. Then they got their first round pick. I keep on forgetting his Brooks, wherever. I keep on forgetting his
Treylon Burks.
Yeah. Burks.
And I don't think they're ready to give up on him yet.
Yeah, he's probably on the trading block. But again, hey guys, this has been an amazing show. I know we went over a little bit of the time, but I had to fix some couple issues. We lost Coach Dre there in the midst of the new setup. And thank you for Mango for answering my message and sending me the 3 cutout window as fast as possible. But that was amazing.
Hey, but again, no iron team here from across the pond, from way downtown.
Bang. All right, let me get some shout outs to Mary Lee, Joseph Visosky, the Mango Man, Mary Lee. I mentioned I wanted to bring this up because Joseph brought up a good point too. Trade up for Harrison or Alder, trade down, get Leggett in second and decent left tackle after that. Again, that could be the scenario that plays out, because that makes a lot of sense. Casey Mango mentioned a player that I think to keep an eye on. I mean, Jordan Schultz is on top of everything NFL, and he said the Houston offensive tackle Patrick Paul is going to come off the board earlier than expected. I'm not sure if that means second or third round, but the Chiefs do spend a lot of time at the Big 12 and with the SEC, so those are generally a couple of conferences. Want to welcome Scott 80 Allen. I don't think he's been on here before, so welcome to the show. And again, Kareem, Coach's last draft reminds me of my grandson's picture he draws. He can't defend himself, so we'll sort of be nice. And Lego
clip that one, Mango. Save that for the archives.
Yeah, And then, of course, with the breaking news, Marilee Trahan, Matty Ice has retired from the National Football League officially.
Wow, okay. Well,
he spent the year in the broadcast booth last year. I thought he actually did a pretty good job for CBS. I was actually kind of impressed with his work. So, that's
those quarterbacks are pretty slick. Want to give John Harrison a little shout out too. That I believe he had the Patrick Paul thing up there as well. In terms of the Chiefs maybe making a move to grab him. So,
got it right here. Yep.
There you go.
He's a true 2,600 snaps. So, again, the Chiefs they're in a great spot. Not a lot of people know. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I made a few phone calls today and got 3 different answers. They're going to trade down. They're going to trade up. Or they're going to do something really shocking. And I don't know what that is, unless it's all or Bowers. I don't even remotely think about trading up. There's some talk. I think somebody posted NFL.com about Xavier Worthy, where the Packers pick. I think it's 16. I don't think I trade up that far for him. I'm not sure. Now, I would trade in front of Buffalo because I know they're high on him and they really want him badly. So that would be the only reason to do it, but I wouldn't go that far.
Give her a shout out. Julia Gulia, new subscriber. There you go.
Thanks, Julia. We appreciate you very much. Love that image. And that's a Chiefs fan for you right there. Saying, man, we're not gonna be bad anymore. We're gonna be good. I'm just making sure you all know that. Love it.
But again, guys, we have a mock. I know it's a lot of mock drafts that's going out there, but you ain't gonna get your up-to-date mock drafts like you get here at Chiefs Blitz.
Not with these beautiful graphics.
Heck no, we're gonna keep. Man. We got 2 more of these to do Wednesday, and again, we'll probably do a show on Thursday and do our last-minute mock and get you ready to come back on at some point Thursday night before the Chiefs pick. We'll be back on Friday and Saturday. It's going to be crazy, but we're going to have the time. This is the time where everybody knows, and at least my family, if it ain't broke, fix it. If it's broke, fix it yourself. If you need me to do anything, don't ask. So I'm off limits this week.
Before you close out, go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors again.
All right, let's talk about our sponsors. We're very fortunate to have Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He's part of the SunWest Real Estate Advisors team. And if you're looking for someone you can trust, someone that's going to walk you through the entire process of getting a home in these days and these market conditions, you need someone you can trust who understands the business. But more so, you need someone who's going to fight for you. Because listen, when you're buying a house, you got a real estate agent on one side, you got another one on the other side, and they're each trying to get the best end of the deal for their respective clients. And Eric and his associates were able to get that done for me. And I'm very grateful and very appreciative. Not only is he a good friend and a big Chiefs fan, he's also great at his job. So if you're looking for a home, you're looking to sell a house in the Kansas City metropolitan area or the surrounding communities like it was for me, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
That's correct, which will be on Wednesday. And another guy that we've been very proud to have as one of our corporate sponsors is Mr. Dave Purdy with Edge Home Finance. He is now our broker with them. He is the guy that put together my mortgage. Again, I got a great rate. I mean, I'm a rate hound. I'm a money guy. And they got something that's not even close to available right now for me. And it hardly cost me anything to to get that value. So again, when you're looking to finance a house, you're looking to consolidate debt. If you just want to look at your current situation, say, hey, Dave, what's it going to take? What do I have to do to be able to buy a house at X price? No obligation, no credit pull. Just let him use his experience and evaluate. And that's what you want. So give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. We all love Dave because he is pretty good.
All right, guys. It was a nice show today. Forgive the technical difficulties.
Yeah, we missed you, Coach.
Just bring
it had to have been the hat that was turned backwards. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, Kareem, I got to point to that, Kareem. I will unveil my mock live on Wednesday. Surprise first pick. All right, we're looking forward to Kareem. Hey, Kareem, did you get your package? Just curious.
We need a wardrobe person, right? Is that it? That's the next move. Wardrobe, hair, and makeup. Bring the funk, Hense. Come on, Hense. Bring it.
All right, guys.
Let's go.
We see you guys Wednesday at noon with mock 3.0. Let's go.